Welcome back to the Division 2. I've just sat here for 35 minutes recording the full patch notes, and I'm not going to upload a video I still wasn't even at the bug fixes section. I'm not uploading a video that's that long. So what I'm going to do is flick through. I've already read a lot of them, and I'm just going to point out some things that I'm not happy. Like, there are good changes. Do not get me wrong with that. There are good changes, but there's a lot of stuff in here that shouldn't be done 3 months after Warlords released. And look at this, the first line. These are patch notes and changes may still happen. The title update is literally tomorrow. They've clearly missed things out, or they're expecting bugs. So, say for example, something gets nerfed by, they've written 10% on here. They could just go along and say, oh, it's a typo, it actually got done by 60%. And stupid stuff like that. We have a new season, and I've been saying for a while that they're out of ideas. The global events suck. And look at this, right here. One new global event. This is to last 3 months, an entire season, and we get one global event. That is it. We've got this stupid manhunt. You take on 5 agents. This is exactly the same. All of this whole season 2 is exactly the same as season 1. You're doing the same missions over again. Besides, they have changed a couple of things, but I'm just, season 1 was a beta. At a push. It was a beta feature in the game. They have made changes that show that is the case. We were beta testing their season feature. And it's so annoying to sit here and say that, but that is how it is. And some of you are going to be like, oh yeah, but you're wrong. Look, Division 2 is the greatest game in the whole of the world. Go away with your fanboy bollocks. The devs have messed up. They always do with this game. They have literally given us one global event for the entire duration of Season 2, and they will not add any other content into this game during that time. So when Cyberpunk hits, the last thing you would have done on Division 2 is this. One global event. 4 new leagues because they time trial the same missions we've been doing for 15 months. New raid, good old Operation Rusty Donkey. New bosses and stuff in the game. Level 40 is available on June 30th. A week later if you haven't bought our expansion, you're going to have to wait an extra week. Sorry, but you should have given us £25. Discovery mode, available at a later date. We've had an entire year to work on this raid, but no, the discovery mode, we're just going to bring that in later on. If anything, that should release the same day as the raid so people can practice, get a team together through the matchmaking, go into the real thing, find out there are hidden mechanics that aren't in Discovery, but get a team together, learn the raid, and then go into the real thing. But no, it's coming at a later date, sorry. They are missing localized audio, so if you are playing on a non-English client, I'm sorry, but your audio is going to be in English. There are subtitles in your native language. We have the Mantis. I'm not waiting for enemies to not look at me. We have Vile, status effects. I don't use those builds, so that doesn't apply to me. The Ravenous, I'm not sitting there switching shoulders all the time. I really don't care for that. It takes away from the immersion of using your gun in the first place. And then the Regulus, I'm sorry, but 5-meter explosion. These NPCs don't hold each other's dicks. They run as far away from each other as possible, so 5 meters is nowhere near good enough. And then they've got Eclipse Protocol, focuses on skill builds with status effect, skill haste, and hazard protection. Then you've got a Rusty Donkey locked, exclusive gear set, and you've just got armor regen. So if you want armor regeneration, go play our raid. Then you've got, again, Rusty Donkey. You've got another skill one. So they're heavily focusing on skills with these gear sets. Repair skills, skill duration, and skill haste. You've got a new brand set, which focuses on your DPS builds, your red weapon damage builds. 5% weapon damage is unacceptable for that. It should be a minimum of 10 or 15. Damage to armor and damage to health, I'd say are okay, but 10% at least on that weapon damage, especially if you're going to be switching out stuff that you already use. So new named weapons. Look at the state of this. You've got the SIG and the MK47 getting named variants, but they are both focused, their talents are both focused on skills. And this overcharge, it grants it for 15 seconds. Not enough, nowhere near, that should be minimum 45. And the cooldown is 90 seconds, no, it should be a max of 20 or 30. That is far too long to get your overcharge proc, to have that cooldown. They're so tight with overcharge, and I don't understand why. But again, here, skill damage for 5 seconds by using your weapon, okay, whatever. This is going to be good. Matador. It is going to give you 23% bonus armor for 5 seconds if you get this named one. If you don't, it's 20% bonus armor, but it stacks up to 3 times. And the cooldowns are only 5 seconds, so if you're running a shotgun SMG, get yourself close to them enemies with this Matador on, you're getting bonus armor. Good for survivability, because it's a decent amount of bonus armor. Let's just hope they don't nerf it in the next title update, quote unquote, patch. Then you've got like the new talents and stuff. There will be a link for all of this in the description, so don't worry if there are things that you've missed. It was linked below, so just one simple click and you can read it for yourself. They've reduced how many elites will spawn in the following missions. There are a few right here, but then after that, every single New York mission, they reduced the amount of elites because there were just far too many and they were too lazy to do it before. They've added all the stuff to general loot pools. I don't believe that for a second because Coyote's mask actually got kept out for a few weeks. They didn't add it in straight away. They've sorted out some caches and stuff to sort out your minimum rolls. They've now changed the loot containers 3 months later. It now scales with your mission difficulty. Lazy development yet again. They've sorted out some targeted loot drops from control points and stuff. They've added the brand to for the season 2 to targeted loot rotation. And then Warlords of New York brands can now also show up as targeted loot in DC. Again, something that should have been in the game 3 months ago. And then they've increased the named item drop chance to targeted loot. Some of this you're probably going to have to take advantage of because I guarantee at some place in this they would have messed up and something's going to be overpowered for getting item drops. So just keep your eyes open. They've added all of the Warlords of New York exotics and stuff to targeted loot. So if you've spent over 100 hours grinding your arse off for Lady Death, then I'm sorry, but it's a big fuck you from Massive. You can now just go and get it from targeted loot. Coyote's mask drop from Coyote no longer has a minimum season level requirement, so they gated that behind getting a certain season level. Yay, because that was supposed to be in the general loot pools at the beginning of Season 1. As I said, they've increased the drop chance for veterans and elites on legendary difficulty. Legendary is pretty much all you have left in the game at the moment to try and grind and get more efficient at, because the raid's going to be irrelevant for most of the player base, and the content's exactly the same across the board. There's nothing new. Vendors no longer sell purple items. That shouldn't be in there. Like Anthem did that shit quicker, getting rid of the irrelevant loot for max level. Added field proficiency caches to shade level up after reaching the maximum season level. So I'm currently level like 304, something like that. Basically, after level 100, I should have been getting field proficiency caches every single level. Even though they might be irrelevant, they could have given me materials or something like that. But no, they've only just decided in Season 2 to do that. So technically, the devs owe me 204 crates. They owe people that are over shade level like 1100, they owe them like 1,000 crates. Like, these caches, like, why are they doing it now? Because we're beta testing their features. That's exactly why. Look, added season and shade experience gain on conflict level up. So when you level up playing conflict, you're going to get some experience gain on your season level and stuff now. Like, why is that not the case in the first place? Look at this, every rogue agent killed will now drop loot. Like, they are one of the toughest enemies in the game. They're random encounters during missions and stuff, and open world activities. Why did not every single one drop loot before? Because of lazy developers. Look at this, rogue agent encounters no longer occur during time trials. A lot of people were saying that stopped the timer, but it didn't for me. It carried on my timer going through heroic Roosevelt Island, which is already tough on its own. And they come along halfway through when I got to, what's her name, Wildfire, that crazy flamethrower boss. And they come along and they fucking screwed me. They completely screwed me over. I had to start the whole run all over again. And look at this, players rezzed by a control point officer will now have 80% of their armor restored. It was previously 0. When you got revived by a control point officer before TU10, you wouldn't get any armor back. Now you do. Reduced all PvP weapon damage by minus 20%, and then additional damage modifiers. They've buffed the MMRs by 12.5, so they've essentially had a 7.5% nerf. But then look at this, assault rifles in PvP, minus 35% across the board for assault rifles. You're basically going in there shooting fucking spud guns. These are all the weapons and their balancing. A lot of them have been increased, but there's a couple of pointless ones. If you go to the rifles, like the MK17, like why have they decreased that by 11.8%? I don't get it. The M1A's got 12.6. I mean, it could still be a very good gun, but it's just taken the edge off it, which is fine by me with the M1A. I'm going to miss it, obviously, but it's not a big deal because there are some other guns that I'm going to be trying now. Like, this list is huge for their changes. And that's good, they're bringing the balance up. They're making other things more viable. I like this, like these changes to these weapons. And I will, even though, let's just say the CTAR 8.6 doesn't seem anywhere near as good as 15.8, but that gun might already have felt a little bit more powerful than the AK. So I'm going to be trying a lot of these new guns, seeing if we can put some good builds together and stuff. My builds aren't perfect. Like, don't ever go and copy one of my builds straight, like a straight up copy, because like I've always said, like in order to feel comfortable and like do your best you can possibly do, you need to have your own builds. I put my builds out there for a foundation so people understand the mechanics behind making the build that I have. I don't put them out there for people to literally copy pasta. And you get a lot of people that do videos. I see hundreds of the things. Oh, best build, gotta get this. Best rifle build in PvE. Oh, best AR build, look at this. SMG tears it up in Dark Zone. No, that's your build, your personal build that you perform well. Like, you do well with that build. Let other people make their own. Just put them out there with as a foundation. Give people some tips like, oh, I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing crit chance on that piece. I'd rather go with headshot damage or something like that. Give people tips and help them out with it. Don't just say, look at my build, it's fucking amazing. If you want, there you go, copy paste it. Anyway, moving on. A little rant about people just always putting out fucking build videos. It does my head in. Like, find something else to do in the game. Even though there's not a lot of content at the moment, there's still something else besides builds. But anyway, the Bighorn, damage increased by 11.2%. Like, it's cool. They're increasing a lot of the exotics. I mean, Bullet King kind of pointless with 2.6% there. Eagle Bearer up by 7.8. They originally, when it first come out in the raids, they decreased it by 15%. So it shows you that the balance wasn't, like, it's never been right for the Eagle Bearer. So they brought it back up a little bit. It was 15% was over the top, but they never wanted to go back and revisit that nerf. Look at all these bug fixes. Look at them. Look at that for a list of bug fixes. And just, I want to point this out. This is titled, there's still known issues. Like, after this, there are still known issues. This, right here, look at how much I'm highlighting right now. Please go up. Please, thank you. Look at all this. This is all bug fixes. This is 15 months after the game has released. But that's not the worst part, because a lot of people are going to look at this and go, oh, Jesus Christ, the devs realise how many bugs are in the game, they're working on them. No, a lot of them are pointless. Absolutely pointless. Fixed the gunslinger talent icon, no longer uses the emote icon. Fixed empathic resolve, or whatever, and unstoppable force talents are no longer trigger when your own skills die. So, some of them are going to be good, but some of them are, I don't think it's in here. I'm not 100% sure if it's in here, but during the PTS, the public test servers, for this patch, they were fixing things with global events from Season 1 that will never be playable. Actually, I've just noticed it here. Fixed reanimated global event kills from group members not counting as progression. Season 1 is over. You cannot go back and play reanimated ever again. Why are they focusing on things? And they did it with polarity switch. Look. Fixed polarity switch global event progress counting in missions with no global event modifier active. Excuse me. Fixed polarity switch global event modifier not updating if activated after starting a mission. Literally, title update 10 comes out, season 1 is over. Like, polarity switch will not exist in the game at all anymore. But right now, you cannot play any of the global events from season 1 because they got closed down. They were only open for 2 weeks. The week, 2 weeks, whatever. They were timed events. They are putting bug fixes into title update 10 for content that is no longer fucking available on the game. But another thing to top this. Every single, I'm going to go and highlight it all again because people are going to see a lot of bug fixes here and they're going to think this is a good thing. Every single title update and the ones in between. So, title update 9, 9.1, then 10. That's ever since 9 started to when we get 10, that's 3 updates. Every single one of them, all the way from the very first title update up until now, and will probably carry on for the rest of this game's lifespan, has a list of bug fixes this big. Every single one. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller, sometimes they're possibly even bigger, but there are always at least, I'm going to say 40 to 50 bug fixes in every single title update. And that's what fucking irritates me. Because, as I pointed out with the global events, they're pointless. Because they're not available to play anymore. They are fixing things that you cannot play. And they are not fixing things that you try to play on a day-to-day basis. But on that note, I'm going to leave the video there. We've gone through the patch notes. As I said, there is a link down below, so if you want to go and read through them in your own time, at your own pace, and make sure you get everything like processed in your brain and you understand absolutely everything, then the link is down below. It's just one click in the description and that will sort you out for looking at all this stuff. But as I said, I will 100% be taking part in Title Update 10. Hopefully be trying some legendary runs with some updated sort of strategies and not just trying the DPS healer strategy or straight DPS or anything like that. And I'm going to be making some builds. I'll put some foundations out there for you guys to help you out with making your builds. But I don't, just one thing to note, I don't put my build videos out there. When I do them, I do not put them out there for people to go and copy paste. You can if you want. I'm not saying don't. Like, you feel free to do whatever you want with the content I put out there in terms of copying what I do in the video. Don't go and rob my videos. So many copyright claims I've had to put out there because of little pricks robbing my content. It's my content. Leave it on my channel. Don't put it anywhere else. I mean, if you're going to give me credit and you're a content creator, then feel free. Do whatever you need to do. Just give me credit as the source of your info. That's fine. Don't just straight up rob my content. But in terms of build videos and any other video I put out, if I say this gun's amazing, then if you want to use it exactly how you want to use it, but I would recommend not copying me exactly, especially with the depth to the builds. Like, you're not going to get an item, like, it's probably going to take you 1,000 hours plus to find an item with exactly the same rolls as mine. Chances are it'll probably take you 2 hours to find something better. But I put them out there as a foundation for you guys to build upon and make your own builds so that you feel comfortable with whatever you are using and so that it makes your gameplay experience better and easier for you. But on that note, I'm going to end the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. Apologies, it's a long one still, but I did manage to cut a lot of time out of it. So that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.